Welcome back. We are starting out our show with Connect. They are the people's voice for mental health here in Summit County, and they have an exciting virtual symposium coming up. Deanna Rhodes is here to tell us more about Utah State of Mind. Deanna, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's good to see you.
It's great to see you, great to connect, of course. So tell me more about this 3-day symposium. It's right around the corner. It has great opportunity for people to check in about mental health with leaders from our community right here.
Absolutely. So this is our first annual Utah State of Mind, and we are so excited. It does have a variety of events over the span of 3 days. So it will be Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We have 6 different panels where we're going to be discussing all sorts of different aspects of mental health. And I want to tell you kind of the way this got started was last August, Connect Summit County created an attitudes and access survey. And if you remember our anti-stigma campaign, we were actually trying to measure attitudes around mental health. And so we created a survey and we got a lot of really great data back. And we realized there's a lot of other great data in the community, and we wanted to have a discussion around that. So that was really the impetus of this conversation that we're about to have next week.
So tell me more about exactly who will be joining the symposium and how other people can watch, and also why you decided to pick these certain individuals that will be participating.
Absolutely. So we're going to kick it off with our data release conversation and really talk about the survey that I just mentioned. But then we're going to roll right into a panel on youth trends and data. And for that panel, we're so excited. We have Dr. Ben Springer from Wasatch County School System or School District, as well as Dr. Ben Belknap from the Park City School District. And that's moderated by one of our board members, Ian Crossland, who is also the executive director of the day school. So there's a lot of great data when it comes to youth, especially the SHARP data, which all of the state of Utah does. And so it's exciting to really have a conversation about what might be some differences between Summit County and Wasatch County, even though we're so close in geographically. So that's super exciting.
It is very exciting, and these are individuals we've had on our show to talk about mental health within their school district, within the community. You also will be speaking with Dr. Melissa Lopez Larson and other people that practice mental health, psychiatrists, adolescent psychiatrists, also mental health professionals, therapists right here in our local area.
That panel is all about promising treatments on mental health, and it's a little bit more of the cutting edge, maybe not a bunch of treatments that we're super familiar with, but things that we want to see maybe happen in the future. And that's actually moderated by one of our board members as well, Kathy Meyer, who has an extensive experience working and connecting people with resources on a professional level. So really exciting conversation to be had there. The next conversation that we will be having on Tuesday, I believe, is about affordable housing and reintegration into our society and community. Especially for people with mental illness. And I'm really excited about that panel. It's going to be moderated by Jeff Jones with the county. He's the Housing and Economic Development Director and very data driven, which is what all these conversations really are about. We will also be having Council Member Roger Armstrong, as well as Executive Director from Summit County Clubhouse, as well as someone from Deer Valley, to really just talk about some of the housing and the challenges that we're facing in our community. And our hope is, we're not going to be able to solve these conversations in 1 hour, but we hope that we start thinking in a new way and just kind of throw some things out on the table and see if there's some opportunities to move forward in that. So that's super exciting. And the last panel that I'm so excited about is actually mental health and its implications on the workforce. And we have Jennifer from the Chamber of Commerce going to be on that panel, as well as John Kenworthy from Flanagan's for representing kind of small business owners, as well as Corey Levy from Vail Resorts representing kind of a larger business in our community. And I think that can be a really exciting conversation because my personal premise is that mental health absolutely affects the bottom line. And so I think this is a business conversation, and it really lends itself to sustainable tourism as well. And so I'm excited to see what comes out of that panel. It will be moderated again by another board member of ours, Brian Kahn, who is with Morgan Stanley. So he has a great financial mind and going to ask a lot of really good questions, I believe.
This symposium is touching on so many important and up-to-date trends in mental health, from treatments to youth and mental health, also to mental health in the workplace, and as you mentioned, affordable housing and mental health. And those are two things that don't always get connected. Tell me just quickly why that is so important, why it's so important to have affordable places to live within a community and how that impacts mental health.
Absolutely. So we find, we have our warm line, our helpline, 435-776 HELP. And that is a live voice on that line, peer navigator, who helps people connect to mental health resources. But it is not uncommon for people to be seeking basic needs. And one of the biggest challenges we do see is housing. And I think it's kind of on both sides of the spectrum. One, I think of the lack of affordable housing in our community causes a lot of stress for people, that causes a lot more challenges in their life, which is something that we need to consider. But also kind of that reintegration. If you have, been experiencing and struggling with mental illness, sometimes housing is a really difficult thing to deal with. And I'm really excited about the panel. I also forgot to mention we have Detective Felicia from Drug Court, who is, going to be able to speak a little bit about kind of the implications of graduates from Drug Court and some of their challenges that they go when they're trying to find housing in our community. And, I think most of us in this space will agree if you can't have stable housing, it's really hard to focus on your mental health. So very exciting to have this conversation.
Very needed conversations to have as well. I'm curious, Deanna, you're the executive director of Connect, which, as I mentioned, is the people's voice for mental health within Summit County. So as you approach the needs that our county has with mental health, it's a very overwhelming responsibility. How do you decide specifically what to do, what programs to bring, what makes sense within the community, within the time frame, and within current events? It must be a really difficult process, but I'm just curious a little more behind what made you exactly do this symposium right now.
Absolutely. So we are, as an organization over the last year, in 2020, in addition to everything that was going on in our community, we were undergoing a really aggressive strategic planning process where board and staff was really engaged in doing that. And we made some really significant decisions. And one of them is that we wanted to be nimble, we wanted to be responsive, and we wanted to really be bold in our conversations. And some of this stuff, potentially has we might not all agree, but we wanted to be able to drive that conversation. And a big part of what Connect Summit County is here to do is advocate for better mental health resources in our community, and better access. And so we just really thought this was a timely conversation. We did want to do it kind of around the legislative session just because there's a lot of conversation about possible bills that might be passed. But we just really wanted to just start some conversations and get that ball rolling and not back down, and part of what Connect does as well is through our peer navigation, through some of our data that we are collecting, we really are listening to the people, and we recognize these are some really significant topics for this point in time. If you ask me what we're going to do at our second Utah State of Mind, I don't think we have the answers for that because we'll need to get a little bit closer to next February to see what is the trending topics that feel relevant.
Well, thank you so much, Deanna Rhodes, for joining us today. We appreciate your time and are very grateful for Connect Summit County and the difference that you're making within our community with mental health. You're bringing these conversations to the forefront, helping to reduce stigma, doing so much more to help everyone within this community. You can head to connectsummitcounty.org for more information about that organization, for that number if you feel like you need help right away or if you want to get connected to help within our community, and to find out how you can register and be a part of that symposium starting on Monday. We'll be back with more right after this.